What's going on, everybody? Before we get to today's video, I want to announce the giveaway for the Germany trip that we're about to do with Adventure Drives to drive the Autobahn, the Nürburgring, go to Oktoberfest in Munich, check out the Porsche Museum, bucket list car stuff for Germany. You're going to love it. But instead of driving Yasmin crazy with the $5 entries that she had to keep track of last time, I'm going to do t-shirts. So there's going to be 500 t-shirts. You can have a 1 in 500 chance of winning, or however many t-shirts you want to buy. They're going to be made to order. We're going to do the drawing first week of September. So jump on it right now. Go to the link in the description, superspeeders.com. Scoop up your shirts, get your order in, and I hope to see you in Germany. I'll take care of your car, take care of your flights, and the trip is pretty much free. You just have to pay for your gas. So it'll be a good time. What's going on, everybody? Rob Ferretti here, and another trial and tribulation in the world of renting exotic cars. Now, right next to me here, we have my Corvette C8. It's a 2023 convertible, and it's got quite the story to tell now, because this car just came back from a one-day rental, which turned into 2 weeks, right? Oh, that's good for you, Rob. Not really. There's a little story behind that, and this may explain what that story is. It came with a souvenir. Yep, right there, New York City Police Department. What does that mean? That means we have an emergency line, right? Like, people call up if something goes wrong. They have a long. It's a scratch too, huh? It's unfortunate. People call up, and we answer 24 hours a day in the case of an emergency, right? When you rent a car, it's a service we like to offer. This one, we missed the call at like 11:30 at night. I heard the voicemail. I'm like, deal with that one in the morning. This was a customer who rented this car for one day and got a phone call. Hey, have a problem. The police impounded the car in Brooklyn, and it turns out he wasn't driving. It was his son driving. He was filming a rap video or something like that. If you look at the GPS, it actually makes a lot of sense, because they're just like erratically driving. When I say erratically, the pattern of driving is not consistent. They're just going back and forth on like the same street. So the cops investigated for whatever reason. I don't know what reason that is. And then allegedly the cops planted the gun on this young man. So that ended in his arrest. His night was much longer than mine would have been. I didn't feel like dealing with it that night. Didn't matter. We wouldn't have been able to get the car out anyway. The police in Brooklyn held this car for 2 weeks to get it out. And then we had to provide copy of title, etc., etc. It was a complete pain in the ass. We've gone twice now, because we went and you call them on the phone. Hey, what do we need to bring to get this thing out? We're still investigating, still investigating, still investigating. I'm like, all right, well, what are you investigating? It's a rental car. We own it. We're going to come get it. All right, just bring a copy of the title and then a copy of the rental agreement. No problem. We bring that. No, it's not going to work. We need this, and this. And I'm like, well, why don't you tell us this on the phone? Right, so now we're sitting in the middle of Brooklyn, which is a pain in the ass, and they want all this documentation, right? And we're like, all right. So we send it over, and they're like, it's got to be notarized, this and that. All right, here's the copy of the title, the registration, the insurance, and notarize this, notarize letter of, to release it to the person who's there, all notarized, all goes over. All right, yep, we got it. We're going to actually need the paper copies of this. So we had to then go back from Brooklyn, or it's all the way down by Coney Island. It was just a complete headache. Then we had to bring all those papers, notarized, inked copies of these papers to bring. I don't know. It's frustrating. The police giving us this car back, incredibly frustrating. But this guy's one-day rental is going to turn into a 2-week rental, and then there's some minor damages right here. If you see, you got this scratch. That's unfortunate. But it's going to require paint work, because it's too deep to like try to buff that out. And then interior wise, and the cops are like, how'd you know the car was here? We didn't call you. I'm like, well, we have GPS in the car. And I don't know why they felt, I don't know what this guy did. I don't know what he got arrested for, but they ripped the car apart. Like, and when they put it back together, that carpet didn't get installed correctly. So we got to send that to the shop and get that done. And that's just frustrating. And it's funny how, like, there's a French fry. There you go. And it's just funny how the cops just don't care. They're like, yeah, whatever. We do what we do, and you deal with it. But now it ultimately becomes the the problem of the customer, because the customer has to pay for all the downtime on the car. They got to pay for the damage. Even if the cops do the damage, they can go after the cops. My contract is with the customer. And the problem with this car getting impounded for 2 weeks in the middle of August is that I had other rentals on it that we had to move or cancel, and that really jams us up. So it was a little frustrating. It's going to be more frustrating for somebody who thinks they're getting effectively a $700 rental, and it's going to turn into like a $5,000 or $6,000 rental. But this could be something where we end up having to chase them, as if they don't have bigger problems on their hand. For us to chase them now, our security deposit's only $1,500. We tack that security deposit, that covers them for like 3 days. And I don't even know what the mileage is. I don't know if they went over on mileage. The fact that they got arrested within 6 hours of having the car means they probably didn't get up to the 100 miles yet. But the additional time that I'm out this car, I'm going to have to bill the customer and hope they do the right thing. If not, probably dump them in the collections. But a lot of people would be like, oh, just hit his credit card again. You can't do that. Like, you need somebody's permission. You can send them an invoice. They can pay it through a payment link, or they can give us permission to run their credit card. But you can't just like run somebody's credit card because you have it. That's not how business works. Even though we're entitled to the money, we can invoice him. He's got the ability to pay it in whichever way he wants. We can't force and take the money from him. And if he doesn't pay it, we have to dump him into collections or pursue some sort of small claims court, which none of them are fun. It's never a good experience, but this is one of those things. I don't know if it's worse for me or him. If I don't collect any more money, the rentals I lost cost me more than what this one rental, even keeping this guy's security deposit, is going to generate me. But for the customer, he's thinking it's a $500,000 night, and it ends up turning into a $5,000, $6,000 headache. It's just what you get when you rent exotic cars. And the problem is, like, I can't even do anything. Like, am I concerned that this guy, who was a repeat customer, gave the car to his son? No, not really, right? Like, I tell people, when I give you the car, you take responsibility for it. It's the dad's on the hook. I'm not going after the son for getting arrested or for running up the bill or keeping the car. The debt is to the dad who signed the contract with me. You're taking the responsibility. When you give the keys to somebody, that falls on you. You can't like dump that onto somebody else. The dad can say, son, you owe me $6,000, but he can't tell me, go talk to my son. He's the one who got arrested. So glad to have it back. It's in reasonably good shape. We'll get an estimate on the back there, but between that and the carpet shouldn't be that bad if you maybe pull off a trim piece. It's very lazy of the cops to do that and to not just you're ripping it apart, just reinstall it. The rest of it looks fine, but and what are you looking for? You think they're and you know what, objectively, maybe like the guys in the car shoved stuff behind the carpet or something like that to try to not get arrested, and that's why the carpet couldn't get tucked back in while they were getting pulled over. I don't know what the story was, but I'm assuming the cops, because they refused to release the car in the short term, I'm assuming they were the ones that took the car apart and looked for more evidence, because if you stuff something in there, you may stuff something elsewhere. Who knows? Very frustrating, but it is par for the course, right? Like, I'm just happy to get the car back in one piece, and we live to rent another day. Rob Ferretti, thank you for watching. If you want the C8 Corvette, guess what? It's back. It's got a bunch of rentals on it, but if you want to try it out, we're going to get rid of this one when the new Z06 comes in. So we just got back from Adventure Drive's Rocky Mountains trip. We did Utah, Arizona, and Colorado over the span of 8 days. We drove some incredible roads, and we had a ton of fun doing it. But that's not what we're talking about. What are we talking about? There's another opportunity, which is Adventure Drive's Germany, coming up September 24th to 29th. We're going to start off by flying into Frankfurt and go to the Nürburgring for 2 nights. From there, we're going down to Strasbourg, which is technically now in France. Germany and France were like, hey, you take it, you take it, you take it. And then eventually it landed in France. From there, we're going to go to the Porsche Museum right there in Stuttgart. You get to go to Porsche Heaven and see these incredible cars. We're going to do lunch there before we go down to Neuschwanstein Castle, which is the castle that looks like the Magic Kingdom castle because Walt Disney used that as inspiration. From there, we're going to continue on our Autobahn journey all the way over to Munich. We've got 2 nights in Munich for the world famous Oktoberfest. If you haven't been, I've been 4 or 5 times. It's incredible. It's probably one of the best global events I've ever been to, and I'm excited to be there next month, September 24th to 29th. If you're interested, click the link in the description. We'll see you out there. It's anywhere between $3,500 and $7,000 for a half spot to a full spot, and it's probably some of the best money you'll ever spend.